Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. The following message is brought to you by Novartis. Since partnering with Novartis, I have been thinking a lot about when I was diagnosed with relapsing MS. I kept it a secret at first, and that robbed me of the support I really needed. I finally found the courage to open up about it and quickly learned the importance of speaking up. That means making your voice the loudest in the room. You have to find an MS specialist who's the right fit, who makes you feel seen and heard. It's kind of like dating. That's why I partnered with Novartis to create a 3-step guide to inspire others to own their RMS journeys, recognize their needs, and find a treatment that works for them. Learn more about my story at reframingms.com. Hello, everybody. Hello, our messy listeners. I'm Jamie.
And Christina.
And we are joined today by one of my favorite people. I was just telling the girls, I met you 20 years ago, which is wild. It's Minka Kelly. Let me just first put it out there. You know who she is. If you don't, you're living under a very large rock. But if you don't know her, to know her is to love her and feel loved in a way that you really might not have ever been loved before. When I met Minka, I was filming a movie with her boyfriend at the time, and it was brief and it was fun, but any time that her and I have come to reconnect, she's somebody that you just don't even have to say anything to, and wants to connect on a deeper level. There was small talk was just never enough for her. You feel very safe with her. And as her friend, I've just been so proud to watch her go through this beautiful releasing and shedding and blossoming of who I've always known her to be, but has inspired me in my own ways to follow suit. And that's what we really want to talk with her about, because she wrote her incredible memoir, Tell Me Everything, that was released last year. I got to be right next to her at a table when she found out she was a New York Times bestseller. It was an emotional moment. She's an incredible actress, an incredible human. And I'm so excited for our listeners here to get to know you even more, Minka. I love you.
Thanks, Jamie. I love you so much. Geez. You never really know what your friends think of you or how they receive you. And then moments like this happen and you're like, oh, wow, good. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's all I want. That's all I want. And I love you so much. And that's, I think, what's so beautiful about you and us and our friendship is just that is so that you can only see what you possess, right? So what you see in me is exactly what's going on in you. And that's why it's so easy with us. It's that's what I call soulmates, is we can go so much time without seeing each other or even talking. And then we'll just pop in and be like, and it's no time has passed. And that's what I call a soulmate.
Exactly.
Hi, Minka. We don't know each other, and I'm so sorry to say that I have not read your book yet because I've been tired, and I know that's the stupidest thing, because when you go, I'm tired, people are like, oh, come on, it's MS tired. So I've been in MS tired, and people that have MS know what that means, which is not tired. It's like comatose. So, but I appreciate your honesty, and I can't wait to read it, because kind of growing up in a very similar situation as yours in life and shame and trauma, I relate. I think you and I would probably be best friends, just in our sharing of our own unbelievable things that happen that people go, no, you're making that up. Anyway, but
I've sort of felt the same just listening to the podcast. I'm like, I see why, Jamie. Yeah, I get it. Awesome.
But one thing that I ask a lot of the people that come on here, because, we talk about our the exceptional lives and, your career and, and your book and all those things. But the question that I always want to know is who was little so-and-so, who was besides the tragedy, besides all the stuff that we write down, all of that, what did your shoes look like? What what was your favorite subject? What did you have best friends? Did you have enemies? Like, who was little Minka? Like little 7-year-old, 8-year-old Minka? Like that to me, it always fascinates me because our perspective of maybe what's happening in our homes, there's a place that we keep for our own safety, which is protecting little Minka. So I'd like to know who little Minka was.
Yeah, little Minka was a very happy, curious, playful, silly girl who was a girly tomboy. I always go back to this one picture of like my coach would make me. I brought up this picture because she made me put a picture of my little self on my as a screensaver on my phone. So it was a dark time, and I had to be reminded to protect that little girl. Anyway, it's a picture of me wearing a tutu, but with like beat up high top sneakers and red shoelaces because I also like to be rough and tumble and play, but I also, so the girly tomboy. But she was also a little girl who was managing a lot of grown-ups emotional roller coasters and adapting to a lot of different environments to make sure she stayed safe. And she was a very adaptable, well-mannered, polite girl. And I remember also thinking too, even at the time, like, I'm only well-mannered because I'm scared. Like, I remember even thinking as a little girl, like, I am so polite because I'm scared. I'm scared of the repercussions of, even doing something like that.
So it was like controlling the situation or managing somebody else's,
Totally.
somebody else.
Yes, always hyper vigilant and aware of everyone else's emotional well-being so that I knew how to navigate it. So to keep everything.
Well, you wouldn't get in a race car and not put your seatbelt on, because the outside life is chaotic and dangerous. And so as little girls, when we're watching the world around us be frightening, I totally get. What was like your favorite TV show? Did you ever, even in the midst of all the things that you were going through, Saturday morning, what was on at night? Like, I love that because it really shows kind of who we all are.
I'm happy you asked that because I don't mean to paint a really scary, awful picture. It was also so full of love. I mean, my mom made a lot of really shitty choices, but the most beautiful thing and the reason I'm here is because of how much love she had.
I totally get what you're saying.
Like, my God,
you've got them, and at the core of it is this person that keeps you safe.
And she was my best friend, and she made a lot of choices that didn't keep us safe. But we were two little kids for a really long time. We were two best friends, just trying to get through, like, navigating this crazy life. And in that navigation was a lot of fun, like a lot of musical theater, a lot of cuddling in bed, watching movies. So there was always like Beetlejuice or Mary Poppins or West Side Story or in the morning.
You're so young. Shit.
I'm so young.
Well, no, because like little kid stuff that you'd watch as a little kid, like you were watching stuff when I was like already had like gray pubic hair at that point.
No, my mom, we watched whatever she wanted to watch. But those movies remind me of her when I think of like, what was I watching when I was little? And it's funny. It's like everything I'm making all of us watch right now.
Oh, yeah. Where did you feel most playful as a child? Like, where would you feel the most free? What was your outlet as a child? Do you know what I mean?
In my bedroom, learning lyrics to all R&B and hip hop songs. So I would sit in my room with a boombox with a cassette tape that I would put tape over the holes on top so that you can record over a tape, remember that?
Oh yeah.
Then you have the radio on, and then you have pause and record pushed at the same time. So then when a song you like comes on, you release the pause so it starts recording that song.
Wow.
Then I would play the song with my notepad and pause play, write it down, pause, listen a few more, pause, write it down. And I just would entertain myself by just learning the lyrics to these songs. So it's why I now know the lyrics to all 90s hip hop and R&B songs.
I did the same thing,
Did
not to
you?
90s R&B, but I did the same thing alone as a child, and it was my favorite thing to do in my
Yeah.
room. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
I had a record player, guys. That's how fucking old I am.
I
wanted to-
I got out of
We didn't have we couldn't record on that. You just scratched it back to the beginning and hope it would
Yeah.
land on the one string
You're-
that you wanted it on.
You are not that much older than us. I'm not
Yeah,
going to let
you're
you play
not.
that.
Yes,
don't
I
think that
am.
10 years is not that old.
It is, because I was out of diapers when you were just getting into diapers. So that's
Well, Minx, I wanted to ask you because, Christina and I are both in the midst of writing our own memoirs.
Good.
And yeah, I know. And it's intense. And it's, bringing up a lot and unexpected things. And I know that you sort of always knew you were going to write your story that you said, and initially you were going to write it as a screenplay, and I remember that, and then you pivoted and started writing the book. I have two questions. One, how did you know you were ready? How did you know it was the time to do it? I know you were waiting until your mom passed, but was that the moment, or was there another? And then also just advice you have for us about this process as we're entering into it, because I can tell you that I did not realize how intense it would be. I thought it would be more of just like this huge release, and instead I'm feeling like I'm getting to know myself again, or learning more about myself.
I think it's different for everyone, maybe, the process, because I remember when I was writing it thinking, I thought this was supposed to be cathartic. I thought I was going to have these big moments where I was just like, wow, I'm really having this. And I just was like, I'm just writing it down. I'm just writing my memories down. And I had from already writing the screenplay, I guess maybe took away some of the meat of when you write it in the book. But I think maybe I kept expecting something to happen, not just letting it happen, because the thing that, it happens at some point, and it happened for me after the book. Now I can see and feel how, oh shit, that actually really did change my life. When you think of how many therapists and coaches or whatever will tell you to write in a journal,
Mm-hmm.
because it helps you exercise all of those frustrations and whatever else, and you do feel better afterwards. Imagine the release of what it takes to write a whole entire book, the release, the lift from your shoulders. And I didn't even do it for that reason. I just did it because I just had to do it. I just had to. I don't know, and I didn't wait till, I waited till she died, but it was 10 years after she died that I started even putting pen to paper. And that's because of Pete telling me, just fucking write it. Just because, he'd be like, have you written yet? No. If you wake up at 5 a.m. and write for 20 minutes, before you know it, you'll have 90 pages. And that really helped me finally just sit down, because the idea of a whole book is really overwhelming and daunting.
Yeah.
But the idea of 20 minutes feels doable. So it's like inches, not miles, like little tiny beats at a time. And like also taking the pressure off of feeling like it needs to be great. Like,
that's so hard.
Go in with the intention of writing something bad, just so that you write anything. No one has to see it, but just so you're in the practice of just getting it out, and whatever it has to be, just getting it out, and getting it out badly. I would watch a whole bunch of like master classes, and I was like, wherever I could get inspiration, or listen to other writers, and all of them across the board. The thing that I took from it the most was just do it badly first, because the pressure of feeling like you need to write something great will keep you from starting, or it made me have to put it down for months at a time. There would also be times I couldn't look at it, and there would be times I couldn't put it down. There would be times I would just look at my laptop and be like, I don't want to touch it. And then there were times where you can't stop.
And you would allow yourself to have those times.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would have like my routine, like it was like a ceremony. I would create my environment. I would create an ambiance. I would put on like classical, not classical, but piano, like classical music. I would put on a candle and an incense, and I would just create a cozy little safe nook. And I would just do it that way. I would write, and that became my job when I didn't have a job. And that was sort of a big part of how it started, was just being out of work. Like,
Yeah.
I just need to create my own thing, I guess. I'm gonna just finally do this. And so that was when I did the screenplay. And that helped keep me sane because it made me feel like I had a job, because I would go to my spot every day and I felt productive. And then when the pandemic happened, I was about to put it together and create a little movie out of it. But then that all fell through. And then a few people in my life at the time were like, I think you should just write the book. And so I did.
Just wanted to take a quick break and share a word from one of Messy's advertisers. Since partnering with Novartis, I have been thinking a lot about when I was first diagnosed with relapsing MS. And to be honest, I was overwhelmed and in denial, and I didn't want to accept it. Eventually, I had to be real with myself, reflect on what was important, reframe how my diagnosis was impacting my life, and focus on how I was feeling. And I wish I'd started thinking about my needs sooner. It helped me get to a place of acceptance and find the right treatment choice for me. And I really hope others don't wait as long as I did. That's why I partnered with Novartis to create a 3-step guide, hoping it can help people speak up and voice their needs. Get the guide at reframingms.com.
Support for Messy comes from Everyday Dose. Say hello to the next generation of coffee. Everyday Dose combines delicious coffee with functional mushrooms, nootropics, and collagen protein for boosted focus, clarity, energy, sleep, and immunity. It is freaking delicious. And here's the thing, like, I have been hearing this, and I know I'm not really supposed to say this, but since I've had MS, people keep going, you need to take lion's mane mushrooms. So I'm not saying this is going to cure things, but I'm saying I'm super excited that it has lion's mane. Collagen protein's essential amino acids directly support intestinal tissue, helping reduce bloating and keeping you regular. I love talking about the poops. Lion's mane stimulates the intestinal immune system and regulates gut bacteria. And chaga is rich in antioxidants and aids in immune support. Everyday Dose is not a coffee alternative. We are the next generation of coffee. It's coffee, but better, with added functional mushrooms, collagen protein, and nootropics to help you feel like your best self. And there's only 5 ingredients: coffee, lion's mane, chaga, L-theanine, and collagen protein. Head over to everydaydose.com/messy for 25% off plus 5 free gifts with your first order. Your first month you get, oh, wow, I didn't even know this. You get a USB rechargeable frother, a gunmetal dose spoon, breathwork app by Othership, wellness booklet, and a sticker. Every month after, you get amazing free gifts with your order. Go to everydaydose.com/messy for 25% off plus 5 free gifts with your first order. Support for Messy comes from Jenny Kane.
Fall is around the corner, which means you can look for any excuse to add coziness and newness to your space. And I'm going to tell you, there's one place I'm going to go for all things interiors, and that's Jenny Kane Home. Yes, that's the Jenny Kane, the maker of our favorite cashmere sweaters and cozy clothing. Well, now they have all things home essentials, from furniture, carpet, the most amazing cashmere blankets you can ever imagine. Jenny Kane Home is a California brand through and through, and their interior pieces are instant classics, perfect for capturing a minimalist and effortless look. They also have luxurious bedroom linens, pillows, throws, oh my God, and the most amazing, incredible scented candles. You guys, Jenny Kane is just the chicest of the chic. It's simple, like we said, minimalist, neutral colors, but makes you feel cozy and warm. All the things that we're wanting to do. And listen, as we're venturing into holiday hosting, if you want to upgrade your tabletop game, they also have a Pacific dinnerware collection, which is durable, perfect for everyday use, but also still feels really special when you have guests over.
All the things she just said. Jenny Came Home has everything you need to transform your space into a luxurious sanctuary. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use the code MESSY15, 15, baby, not the full word, MESSY15 at checkout. That's 15% off your first order, JENNIKAYNE.com. Promo code MESSY15. Curate your dream home with Jenny Kane.
Are you able to release expectations like that in all areas of your life? I struggle with that greatly. Like, I feel I put a lot of pressure on myself for things to be a certain thing, for it to be worth it, or to feel like anybody would care. And I just, I admire you so much for being able to just be like, you're not thinking about the end result. Are you always like that?
No, we all put so much pressure on ourselves. That's just so human.
Yeah.
But I guess what might have helped with that is the copious different types of therapies I've done that have helped me with acceptance of what is, and just the exercise of I also, when it came to the book, a book is a lot more daunting than a screenplay. We're all very familiar with screenplays. We could all write down conversations. It's a little bit less intimidating than a book. So for the book, I worked with a creative writing professor. So it also helped, because writing the screenplay by yourself no one writes by themselves. I learned after I did that.
Yes.
And it's so much easier. One, like going to the gym, it's easier to do when you have a trainer. It's easier to do when you have someone to be accountable to, and you're meeting with 3 times a week, and you have this set time. It just helps, and it helps have someone go, no, this story is worth it. Keep going. Because every other day I'd be like, who cares about this? Everyone, and even before I started, I said to my therapist at that time, when I was even thinking of doing it, what makes my story more important than anyone else's? Everyone has a story. And he said, Mink, if you take more out of that question, you have your answer. My story is important. All of our stories are important. And so the more also I was listening to Jane Fonda and Shania Twain, like I was listening to these other older, wiser women be vulnerable and share their stories. And their stories sounded a lot like mine. And it helped me not feel alone and crazy. And so I felt like, well, then maybe someone will feel less alone and less crazy if they hear my story too. Because what she's doing for me by sharing it, I maybe have to also, I can do the same. It's not self-indulgent. It's not looking for, it is, I just wanted to make sure it was with the right intentions. Yeah. And that's what you and I think both can suffer from is, I'm not worthy. I don't want to take up space. It's okay. You don't, I'm sorry. Like, and the biggest practice has been going, no, I can take up space. I am worthy of being here.
Yeah.
It is okay. And if you don't want to listen and you don't care, and that's okay too. But the important part of it is it's you write the book you need to read. It was my favorite thing. And I wrote the book I needed to read. I was discovering on my own, because of the therapy I was going through at the time, holy shit, I just found out my red flags, and my red flags are because of this. Okay. And then it helps you have compassion for yourself and love yourself again, and stop beating yourself up for having fucked up friendships, for being such a fucking dramatic roller coaster of the world's out to get me. I always had my dukes up. I always felt like, but that's also because I didn't have boundaries, and I didn't know how to remove myself from situations that weren't for me. I kept trying to force round pegs into square holes, and I didn't understand why I kept finding myself in this thing. And the book helped me go. And also working with this woman, she goes, Mink, do you notice, or like every time you stick up for yourself, something amazing happens.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, there is, you can notice patterns.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm gonna
Good
keep
and
doing
bad.
that. Yeah, good and bad.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I work with someone right now too. And well, mostly because I can't really type and write really and stuff. Wait, womp. But what I think has been so great about it, working with someone, is because he just records me talking and telling my stories, like the way I see them, smell them, remember them, and all of that. So I'm not judging myself. I think if I was to pen to paper, I'd be judging how it sounds. You know, is someone going to get fucking offended by what I'm fucking saying? Or, you know, all those things. And it's like this freeing thing of like literally telling him my story. And that's what I think the most successful books are, that you pick up and you're like, oh, this person's just talking to me. And so I appreciate you doing that, because you were just talking to some little girl who's living in wherever, who's in the same situation as you, and knowing that, oh, okay, I can have power and I can advocate for myself at some point in life and not feel shame. But like that, you're just like, it's an intimate story. What a beautiful thing to do.
Well, the most freeing part, I think maybe the most essential part of writing a memoir, is to not leave out the most humiliating parts, which was the scariest. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to take out a few things where I was like, I don't need to know that part. Like, who's that helping? Like, and then my editor and also my both like encouraging me that it's okay and holding my hand. You know, can't do this alone. You do need someone that you trust to remind you it's okay to share that. You're going to help someone, because it's only when you're so vulnerable that you're sharing things that are a little humiliating and embarrassing, but you have the safety of being in your kitchen or wherever it is that you're writing and doing this in the safe space. And then you go do a book tour and you're like, oh, you all know that thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any power over you anymore, because you've let it out and you let it go. And then you see all these people still love you. You're not shamed for it. You're actually connected. And my favorite thing about this whole thing is shame needs an empathetic witness. And when you when you are vulnerable and you're met with the empathy and you share the scariest part, and someone responds with, oh my gosh, with compassion, or with, oh my God, I had that experience. I know what that feels like. I did that. I would do that. I did worse. And you're just like, oh, now we have connection. And now you're realizing how much shame you're carrying, and it's, you don't have to live like that.
And that's what this podcast, you know, I think has done for us, at least, about this like particular experience that we share, but we've also realized how universal these feelings are, no matter what they're related to.
Whether you have MS or not. I have many times through your guys' conversation been like, fuck, yes.
Yeah.
I love you both together so much. I love you together so much. I love your friendship so much. I love being like, no, fuck this. This sucks. I'm not at peace with it. Fuck you. And Jamie going, holding space for that. Like, yeah, good. It's okay. Yeah. I mean, I have goosebumps right now just because I'm also new at being okay with being fucking angry.
Yeah. I was going to say, I had cancer in 2008 and I had to have both my breasts removed, and I have these scars across my chest and I don't have nipples. And I was really fucked up about that for so many years. And I remember saying to someone just only about 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, I don't want anyone to see my chest because of my scars. And this person said, that's your story. And you're beautiful. That's your story, your scars. Yeah. You know, the shit that we've gone through is like, oh, yeah, I'm not trying to hide behind some kind of fucking facade of like, I've got it. No, I'm really okay with this. Like, that's your story. Your scars are your story. And so I think that's where, you know, Jamie and I don't know, when we talk, it's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've had too many folders.
No, you're perfect. You're perfect. And Minka, what you just said about like pretending that everything is okay when it's not, you talk about that a lot in the book. And obviously we talk a lot about that. Do you feel now that since you've just kind of put all the things that you felt quietly shameful about out there, are you not doing that anymore, or at least as much?
No, I feel, and also maybe it's like a combination of all the things. It's also being in your 40s where you're just like, I
Yeah.
don't fuck anymore. This is who I am. This is how I feel. These are my boundaries. I love you, but I won't make myself small or abandon myself for you ever again anymore. And so, sometimes it makes other people uncomfortable, and I'm okay with letting people feel uncomfortable now. Whereas before, I would do anything to make sure no one ever felt uncomfortable at any cost of me, God forbid. Like,
Fuck them, Minka.
Yeah.
Fuck them all. Sorry, that's right.
kinda.
Jamie
And
knows
that's
that I'm like,
my
fuck
dad's
people. I
been
don't
saying
care
to
what
me
you
for
think.
a lot of years. My dad would be like, fuck them, Mink, fuck them all. And I'd be like, no, but I need them all to like me.
I know. The Cutter said that to me the other day. He goes, Jamie, the last thing in the world you should worry about is what anybody else fucking thinks. And I know he's right.
Except for if you do like theater, then if you don't get them liking you and laughing and being with you, then you fucking suck. So it's kind of a dichotomy, isn't it? What we're saying here.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
you go into this business where it's like,
Was that okay? Was that take okay? Am I okay? Am I doing
It's
well?
true.
Are they laughing?
and then on the other side, it's like, fuck what people fucking think. So I don't know.
Right.
It makes you a little insane.
Christina, did you ever get to a point in your career, because I sure haven't, where you don't need that or look for that?
I didn't need it on Dead to Me at all. Not for 1 second.
Do you feel that was just because you were just in your role and you knew it and you owned it, and it was...
Yeah, no one was there to me. It was just me and Linda. No one existed.
You could tell, you could feel it. I mean, I think when things are great,
it's so freeing to
right?
not fucking care. It's so freeing. And you know what comes from that is, and this is life shit too. What comes from it is great work, right? So we're doing this and you don't know you're doing great work because you don't give a fuck. You're just enjoying the moment. And that's life too. It's like, once you release giving a fuck, it's like I talk about, and I use this word a lot, which is annoying, beholden to anyone. I'm not beholden to anyone anymore, Minka. I don't have a job. I don't have to play pretty, funny panel fucking talk show bitch anymore. I don't have to like dress up. I don't have to like wear shoes if I don't want to. I don't care. And it's really freeing to just not care. I care what my daughter thinks of me, and that's all that really matters. I care what Jamie and Allison think of me. And now I care what you think of me. Okay, now okay, I've just spiraled into my Folgers. Minka, one thing you don't know about me, I started drinking Folgers instant coffee, and I love it so much because it reminds me of my grandmother. But it's so strong that when we start our podcast, normally I'm like really tired. And then all of a sudden I'm like,
But what you just said is like what Minka said when you wrote your book, right? It was for you. And then I think it just becomes everybody else's, right? It becomes whatever they need it to be. It becomes, because everybody takes everything in through their filter, through their lens, through their experience. These are just all the things we need to remind ourselves. But I'm just going to tell one quick little thing that it was a very impactful moment in my life that I actually go back to a lot, Minka. You and I were part of a very intentional evening, I'll call it. And I remember sort of...
Orgies? You were at an orgy?
Oh, God, I wish it was that fun.
Sorry, I'll shut up. Shut up.
We were laying around and holding each other, but and
Okay.
I looked at Minka and I just sort of, started to share things that I'm hard on myself about. And I'll just never forget, you just like grabbed my face and you were like, you carry and deal with a lot, Jamie. And it was just this beautiful, quick moment. But sometimes we need to be reminded of those things by the people we love. We can get so stuck and hard on ourselves of what we should be doing or how we should be doing it or how we should be handling it. And it was just it was a moment that I treasure. And like I said, I go back to a lot when I need to have grace and compassion for myself. And sometimes, I think what Christina and I try to do for each other too, is just remind each other of what we're dealing with, because we had a lot of life before where we didn't have to we did everything we do now with able bodies. And then so now to try and do it in a disabled body, like, you know, sometimes, and everybody has different disabilities. Like we said, the way you say you relate to sometimes what we're saying, Minka, and it's not about MS. You know, we all need to be, like you said, witnessed and acknowledged for life being life, you know?
And that is such a compliment. That makes me feel so good. All I ever want to do is make people that I love feel like that and feel seen and like have a memory that you can think back on that suits you or makes you feel compassion for yourself. That is the biggest compliment in the world. I
No.
love you so much, Jamie, because you did the exact same for me. And that's also why I always want to come to you. It's why I'm always like, I need to go to Austin and see Jamie. It's just because you're such a safe place. You're such a safe place. There's never any judgment. There's never any guilt trip. There's never any bullshit whatsoever. There's only so much love to give. And you see me, and you've always seen me when I felt everyone was against me. I always just
Yeah.
felt like Jamie loves me. And that made me feel like I was okay. I must be doing something right if Jamie still accepts me and loves me.
Oh my gosh. I've watched you. I've watched your dukes go down. I've watched your walls come down, and nobody has worked harder on themselves that I know than you. And I've also never seen somebody apply what they've learned and how to better themselves and live life with more grace and ease more than you. And I'm a witness of it. You can speak to it, but as your friend, I feel like once this book came out and once you shared everything that you've deserved and everything anyone that's ever loved you has wanted for you has seemed to kind of fall into place. Do you think it was because of your release and you're being open to receive? Is it just timing? Is it all of it?
I ask the same question all the time, and I'm so afraid of losing how good things are right now because I'm not used to things going good, and I'm used to it being good for a moment, then being ripped away.
I know.
Oh, amen. I always say expectations are planned disappointments.
I literally just talked about that in therapy today.
You did expectations
Really?
being planned disappointments.
But no,
You're like,
yeah. And she was like, you're always waiting. You always feel like something's gonna go wrong, or you're waiting for, like, you're almost repeating a pattern of, like, even with Bo being well, I'm like waiting for him to get sick again, or I'm at nothing. I've never felt like something's been in a flow, and I want to understand it. I'm hoping that I can see some patterns of my own as I am in this writing journey, because I know there's a part of me that, you know, what do they say? Like, our nervous system finds comfort in chaos and the pain that we feel sometimes. And I think that I have some comfort in going back to that pattern, you know?
Yeah, I understand. I can completely relate to that.
but when I have to reiterate, expectations or planned disappointments can also be turned on its head to a very positive thing. So I don't, you know, like
Yeah.
that you go into the world not expecting it to look. I'm sorry about the dog situation right now. Nope.
They've got something to say.
That's like going into life without being attached to an outcome, like being open to kind of beautiful things happening that are beyond your even imaginings, but also that I totally understand that thing of like, I had a friend who, very highly successful person. And she came into an incredible amount of money, more money than we could possibly imagine. And the week that this money happened, she got cancer. And she said to me, "Am I being punished?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, no. We're not doing that fucking thinking. Hell no, you're not being punished for something incredible happening to you." So anyway.
And that's it, right? Because that's life. It's just like, and then so I know that this good ride I'm on right now, something's gonna happen. It's just life. It just is what it is. And like,
I'm not affirming that for you.
Well,
Me neither.
it's It doesn't have to be huge.
You're able to be present with what is happening for you right now.
Of course. And I thank my angels every single day. I'll sometimes get like a whoosh of love, and I'll just stop in gratitude and go. I just whisper 500 thank yous.
I've seen you do that.
Yeah, I do. I'm like, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, my guides. Thank you, my angels. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
And
I'm always like, thanks for nothing, bitches. Just sorry.
yeah. No kidding. Thanks for all the fucking work I had to do to get here.
Nothing.
But Buck, breaking these generational cycles, Jamie, is really fucking hard work. It's big work. And I was just, for some reason, somehow determined to get out of my own way. And I didn't even know it was me in my own way until I met my coach. I love all my therapy. I love all the things I've done, but this coach that I have actually changed my life. She got me out of making all the same choices. I was addicted to the roller coaster. I associated the chaos with love because that's what we do. To your point, our nervous systems, we just go to where our nervous systems feel something is familiar. So we'll go where it's familiar, even if it hurts, because the unknown is scarier than what we know. We know how to struggle and suffer and be in pain. I have a very high pain threshold. I can take on a lot. And that is where I thought, if I just weather this storm a little more, they'll see me as this person I want them to see me as. And that was I was inviting these dynamics into my life constantly because it's what felt like I was alive. I felt like, and I remember my coach saying, okay, we're just going to do things differently. We're going to make different choices. There were things that I would complain to her and she'd be like, this is a good opportunity to look at your red flags. Do you often X, Y, or Z? And I'd be like, I guess so. She'd be like, okay, well, you're an adult now and we can advocate for ourselves with our words. You don't have to behave that way. We can like protect little Minka now, and we don't have to operate as little Minka throwing temper tantrums all the time. And so I don't even know why I would.
No, you answered my question beautifully.
That's why we're here, Minka.
Yeah.
Let the stream of consciousness happen here. That's what we do. And obviously mine is just really inappropriate humor.
I love it.
God
I actually have I actually just read something that made me feel very good about myself, is that the darker your sense of humor, the higher intelligence. And so
this is true.
Yeah, we know.
So I would be proud of that.
This bitch has a dictionary next to her bed and reads it for fun.
It's not a dictionary. It's a dictionary of etymology. Very different.
See, what the hell is even that?
Because I like it. I like the origin of words. It gets me.
I love your love for language and words.
Right?
I'm like a word nerd. I love it so much.
I love that.
Support comes from Cionic.
The Cionic Neural Sleeve is the first FDA-cleared bionic clothing designed to help people living with MS and other neurological conditions improve walking and strength. So the Cionic Neural Sleeve is this very slim, lightweight, amazing piece of like clothing, essentially, that goes around your leg and targets the four main muscle groups, right? Your quad, your glute, your shin, your calf. And their system analyzes every step you take, and then it will send electrical pulses directly to the four major muscle groups to see where you're going to need some extra help to improve walking in real time. This is an award-winning device. It was named one of Time's best inventions and just won the impact category of Fast Company's Innovation by Design Awards. It is so easy to use, and you customize it through the Cionic app. So you'll meet face-to-face with a dedicated Cionic mobility specialist, and you do trainings with them. You could do check-ins. They'll teach you how to personalize your settings, track your progress. And the best part is you pay as you go. So if the neural sleeve isn't working for you, you can cancel anytime for any reason.
We are so excited to share that Messy listeners can get $50 off by entering the code MESSY. And if you don't know how to spell the word messy, sorry, it's MESSY, during checkout. To learn more, visit cionic.com/messy, CIONIC.com/messy.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. Did you have a little too much fun this summer like me? You know, letting those UV rays take a toll on our skin, leaving us dry, tired, less vibrant. We all want to undo all of that stuff. I'm going to tell you how to do it with OneSkin. Their products are all powered by the revolutionary OS01 peptide. This proprietary peptide is scientifically proven to reduce dysfunctional, also called senescent cells. Sorry, it's a little tongue twister, which is a central source of skin aging. Let me just say this. Treating symptoms rather than the root causes of aging has long been the norm, but not anymore. With their in-house cutting-edge R&D platform, they were able to measure the efficacy of age reversal molecules in their lab and develop for us this OS01 peptide, which is reversing skin's biological age by reducing the number of senescent cells by up to 50%. I use their serum, their eye cream daily. I love the way it's making me feel. They combine tissue engineering, data analysis, and cutting-edge longevity science, and they have made the world's most effective product to target skin aging. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, and it's targeting the root causes of aging so skin behaves, feels, and appears younger. It's time to get started with your new face, eye, and body routine at a discounted rate today. Get 15% off with the code MESSY at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code MESSY. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. We only have one body, one skin, and only you can choose to make it better. Age healthy with OneSkin. I know you were very conscious of making sure that your mom wasn't the villain in this story, and she never was, and giving grace and forgiveness for yourself and everyone involved. But what is it also difficult as we're, doing this too? Like, I find myself a little nervous of how people that are in the book will feel about what I have to say. I want to be very clear. This is my memory. This is my perspective. I want to go ahead.
I want to speak on that because I had a session and I started to edit because someone in my family asked me to not be in the book. And my friend said, no. We can fix that later, but right now you can't do that. And all of my people that are the effects and the reasons for my shit are all still here. And I found myself like going, okay, well, they're not going to like this or they're not going to like this. And then there's a part of my brain going like, well, then you shouldn't have fucking done it. Like you're like then you're mad about it. But I like, that scares me of like, I don't want to end up like, making it so like perfect in a little bow so that everyone's fucking happy that I made them look good when they weren't.
Right.
So I just got mad because that was like 2 days ago. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Like literally someone very close to me said, do not mention me in the book. I was like, you're
okay, I'll change your name.
You're kind of a part of the whole dynamic, man. Right. So sorry, go ahead.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even know. I just,
I had to change a lot of names. The only names I didn't change were the dead ones, which was my mom and the dad who raised me. But I had to change everybody's names.
Yeah.
For that reason. There are a lot of people in the book that are alive that I just talked about the experience of the thing more so than the person, and the name needed to be used to reference. I just named a different name and not necessarily the exact relationship of that person so that you could, if you worked really hard, you could figure out who it is. But I tried to make it less about anyone else and more about my processing of the experience.
And if somebody has an issue, no, go ahead.
No. I was just thinking like, that's what I felt is like, am I then being inauthentic about my side of things? You know, I mean, I don't think a book should be there to like shit on people, but you're still there experiencing this at the hands of someone else, right? But so it's so curious to me about, having to then go through and kind of chip away at do you feel like you had to kind of make it prettier, or were you really honest? Were you able to be incredibly honest, regardless of a name or a place or a smell or a thing?
I was very honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I also had the luxury of not really being in a lot of those people's lives anymore. So I did change a lot of the names also because I just didn't want to bring up anything for them or create anything for them in their lives. That's not what it was about for me. For me, it was just a path of self-discovery of like, these are the scenarios I was in, and this was the dysfunction I was also participating and contributing to in my own way. And this is what I allowed in my life. And this is the relationships I kept allowing because I was just so happy to be chosen. I just was like, this person chose me, I'm chosen. And I found it didn't matter if I liked whoever it was that was choosing me, friend or romantic relationship. I just was so happy for anyone to choose me that I would just, anyway, I'm going on another tangent.
No.
But the point was that it was just, I tried to keep the focus on the emotional experience of the thing more so than anyone being bad. It was just like, I experienced abandonment or emotional abuse or whatever the thing is. And this was what that process was like for me, how I experienced it at that time and how it's affecting my life as an adult now.
I was going to start to ask because we talked a lot about the book, but I'd like to know more about kind of the process of you coming here and becoming an actress. And I mean, I know for myself, if I didn't have acting, I'd be dead. Like I wouldn't be here. There's absolutely no way that I could have survived things and gone on to the world. Or maybe I could. I don't know. Probably not. But like for you, like, did that feel like almost like you put your talons into it and were like, oh, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Or how did that happen for you?
I even think I was just thinking of like this really probably dysfunctional part of being an actor where you'll experience something and you're like, this will be good for my work later. Later. But I like in high school, I remember thinking, I'm going to write this down. This is going to be useful one day somehow. I don't know, but she's going to have to be dead.
You were always an artist.
But it was therapy for me. Someone took me to an acting class and a teacher was really hard on me. And I associated pain with love. I thought, wow, this woman is so mean to me. It must be because she loves me and sees something in me. And I'm going to make her my best friend. And I'm going to come here every fucking day because I think she has something to teach me. And so I spent my whole life, little Minka is constantly searching for someone to look up to and to teach me and to help me know how to be in the world. And so I would just always make friends with older people, everyone always smarter than I am, because I'm always so fascinated by people's brains. And I've just been so insecure of the education I had or lack thereof. And so anyway, a friend of mine took me to an acting class and I fell in love with this acting teacher because she just was so powerful. And she like had me do an exercise in the class when I just barely came in and do like a Meisner repeat exercise. And I just got here essentially. So I was still from Albuquerque, having a little bit of an accent, wearing a shit ton of makeup and having big crunchy hair and just hiding behind a lot of layers. And also I'm just supposed to be doing this repeat exercise and the teacher stops and she's like, stop, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, what? And she's like, why are you manipulating him? And I went, what? I don't know what that even, how do you manipulate someone? I didn't understand. She's like, you're talking like a little girl and you're being cute. What are you doing? Just do the exercise. And I was like, but I was just copying what the last person did. I was doing the exercise. I was doing it perfectly. And she was like, were you abused when you were little? And for the whole class. And I was like, maybe. I haven't really thought about that. And it was really embarrassing, but I felt something in me was like, this is good for me. And she was like, there's a woman in there. Let her out. What is all this? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I like it. And I just was attached to it ever since. And that was how I became an actress, was because of that, because I just was like, I need to keep doing whatever this is.
And vulnerability is creativity, right? Like in order to be creative, you have to be vulnerable. And this was finally an opportunity for you to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Safe place to put all these things that I've never been able to put anywhere,
Wow. Well, so now that brings us to your show, Ransom Canyon. I want to hear all about it. And I also want to know from you, like, now that you've let it all out there, do you feel a shift in you as an actress? Like with your vulnerability? That's awesome.
Big time. Yeah. Yeah. I remember, all the way from like in the beginning where I would get a note and I'd be like, I'm sorry. Okay. They're like, Mate, can we try it like this? I'm like, oh, so sorry. Yeah. Oh my God. It must have been exhausting to work with. But I don't
know if it's as exhausting as me, who a director will walk across the set to come tell me a note. And I go, I know.
Yeah.
Like, just, can you just turn back around and don't speak to me? Because I know.
Yeah.
Like a cocky little fucker.
No, like a seasoned professional. That's why.
No, just like annoyed by everybody. You know me.
No,
like,
everybody's
fucking. It's because you fucking know. That's why. It's because you
I know.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I don't apologize anymore, but I'm more on the side of I know, because we do know. We know when we're like, that wasn't it. I felt, you can feel it.
Yeah, when you're like outside of the scene, inside the scene, and
yes,
and full of shit. Like the second you feel like full of shit, when you're sitting there, you're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, gross, ew.
Yeah. I know exactly
acting class in elementary school just happened. Just real bad.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the show.
Oh yeah, sorry, I shut up now.
No, it's okay. Don't shut up.
Don't ever shut up. It's a modern Western romance, which is really fun, and it's shot in Albuquerque, which is so
wild.
Crazy.
Just wild, Minka. I can't.
It's nuts. The first time going back, I'm going back in this way, which is you release the book, now you get a show, and you're going back.
That's right.
And it's not the boogeyman I thought it would be. It's totally fine, and it's actually a lot more beautiful than I remember, because I saw it with little girl eyes. Now I can see it with new eyes and be like, oh, okay. I can see why I have an allergic reaction to the desert. I'm not a fan of like cactus stuff. I need tropical green foliage. Anyway, the show is a lot of fun. I love it. I think it's my favorite job I've ever had in my entire career, mostly just because of everyone that I work with, from the crew to the cast. Everyone is so wonderful. There are no egos. There's no competition. There's just like utter support for everybody, with everybody. And there's a lot of women in charge, which is pretty cool. We have April Blair and Amanda Marcellus, which is just such a dream to work with. And Josh Duhamel is the hunky guy.
He's handsome.
He's a hunk.
He's a hunka.
He's a sweetheart.
Sorry, and he's funny. He's good. He's good. He's a nice person too. I've met him many times.
He's such a sweetheart. Yeah. And his wife is awesome, and they just had a little baby boy.
Aww.
Oh man, I missed out on that, didn't I? Shit. Just kidding.
Yeah, and it comes out in the spring.
Awesome. Well, listen, it's no coincidence. I knew this was going to happen. It's just it's the tale as old as time, but you don't want to have the expectation. You don't want to do something and be like, I know my life's going to change after this. Like it only happens when you don't know. It only happens when you're completely disarmed and just open and ready to receive whatever it is. But as your friend, I'm not like when you texted me and you're like, I'm going to Albuquerque, do that. I'm like, of course you are. Of course you are. Of course this is the moment and the ride that you're on. And it's just so beautiful to witness. You're a hero in so many ways to me, and I admire you so much. And if people listening have not read Tell Me Everything, go read it, because I'm glad that you didn't give too much about the details of the book, because to experience it firsthand is truly special. You did such a good job. But I want to end this with a party trick Christina has.
Wait, but Jamie, you have to know you are my fucking hero too. Like, look, you say all these things, but right back at you, my girl. You are my fucking hero. You've weathered this thing like such a fucking champion. I am so in awe and inspired and impressed by your ability to stay so open and so loving and so generous with everyone who comes into your orbit. All you do is continue to love. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud of how much you still have to offer and how much you give up so freely every fucking day. And it's really fucking hard what you have to weather. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud of this friendship between you guys. It is so inspiring and beautiful to watch. When I saw you guys with Robin Roberts and the way you held her hand, I texted you when I saw that. I just was just like, I know the kind of love Christina's getting right now, and I'm so fucking happy to see it. I'm so proud of you guys, and thank you to Lance for bringing you two together.
Right?
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, what I was gonna say is Christina has a wild ability. We can call it a party trick. I call it a superpower. If you didn't know yourself enough already, Christina's about to tell you,
I always
Minka.
do this, and then I feel like so much pressure to like.
I am sorry, that was unfair of me, but it's pretty spectacular. She made Robin Roberts cry. I'll just say that.
Yes.
So you might be familiar with this. You're going to give her your 5 favorite movies. Don't think too hard about it. Just what comes up from your mind and your heart.
Yeah, you can't think about it. You're already thinking. Don't.
No, you know what's so funny is when I heard, I was like, I need to think of my movies. And I'm sitting here right now like, I forgot to think about my movies.
Wait, that's perfect. Good. So now they'll come up fresh for you.
Okay. The first one that always comes to mind for me is Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Legends of the Fall is popping into my head. Beetlejuice never gets old. I'm probably going to regret not mentioning so many things.
Doesn't matter.
No, don't think about that.
5 of them?
Yeah.
That's
Woman Under the Influence is coming to mind.
Obviously.
And West Side Story.
Okay. Now you guys have to talk while it all comes to okay.
Well, oh my gosh, your hair looks great. You can't listen, you can't see because you're listening, but she's chopped all her hair. Do you feel like it was an energetic thing?
Oh, I actually truly felt like I don't need all this. I want to cut all these years off.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not my fucking hair. I've been my hair my whole life. Who cares what it looks like? I want to even.
Have you ever had your hair this short?
No, I think I probably had it like, but I want to make it even shorter.
You can.
I just feel so free. Like,
wow, you look like you're on vacation right now.
I know, right?
I think I have something.
Oh, she's got it.
Oh boy. Okay, let's go.
I mean, this is what just came to my mind is that your own sexuality has made you feel incredible shame over your entire life, and leaning into being sexy, to having like complete abandon makes you feel icky about yourself because there's so much shame and bullshit attached to sexuality. And to you, it looks haggard and it looks disgusting, and you find yourself being disgusting if you let yourself kind of feel all those beautiful sexual feelings and that freedom with your own body and stuff like that. But and then being loved for just your heart and your soul and not for anything else that you've done.
Oof. How the fuck do you do that?
Isn't that insane?
Jesus. Christina, that is really, really, really spot on. I have had such a complicated relationship with my sexuality. I mean, I only in my 40s have I given myself permission to be like, I can be sexy. I've
Mhm.
dressed in ways that hide my body.
Mhm.
I have hidden myself and played down the thing. Like, I've probably done one sexy photo shoot my entire career for that reason, because I'm so afraid of being sexy because my mom was so
Yeah.
sexy.
But it comes out in your movies. It's really, really obvious. It's really obvious to me. Like when I'm looking at it, like what you related to, it's like, fuck yeah, we'd all like to be Apollonia up there, motherfucker.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
like having that kind of
Apollonia
freedom,
was
like,
my
it was like everything, but also your women under influence one that's really telling as well, because of, what that movie is about, and
yeah.
damage. But I don't know where Beetlejuice fits in, but I think it's kind of like having that fantasy of someone else taking care of you, of someone else becoming a parent to you, that, of these two safe people, without being specific about fucking plots of movies. It just, how I do this is I just kind of look at everything, and there's always like a theme. And so that's the theme. So
Isn't that
so cool.
amazing?
It's really, I was like, I wonder what she's got. Whoa. I can see, I remember Robin Roberts being so floored. I feel that. I get that. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy that you can do that with movies. I guess, of course, because we're so it's such an emotional experience. When you love a film, you love any type of art, it's because of something going on inside you. Of course. That makes
yeah,
sense.
it's what you're attracted to.
Wow.
Sometimes it goes even deeper, Mine are so easy because it's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, it's so easy. It's like,
it's not easy.
it's really easy. Thing about
of course it's easy for you. It's you.
But it's so easy. It's like All That Jazz and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Spinal Tap and Sophie's Choice.
Yeah,
and,
hell yeah.
Like it's nice. And Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Like, come on. It's so easy.
All this game does is really remind me every time that I just need to watch more movies. I've just not watched enough movies. I just haven't. I haven't. Well, thank you so much, Minx, for.
I love you. I'm so happy we finally were able to make it work. Thank you, Allison, for.
Yeah.
And thank you. Yeah, thank you. She's talked so highly of you for so long, and so and any friend of Jamie's is got to be pretty damn special, because she's literally saves my life every day.
Oh, I totally know what you mean.
You guys, it's like Minka said, you can only see in somebody else what you possess. And I believe that. And we all recognize parts of ourselves in each other. We're all woven into the beautiful quilt of life, in the good and the bad. And I've learned more than anything this past couple of months how much community means. It's everything. So with that, I'm going to pull a card.
It's so funny. I was just about to say, I think this is one of the times that we can pull a card with a guest.
Yes. All right. Oh, it's a short one, but ready?
Yeah.
If you can find a path with no obstacles, it probably doesn't lead anywhere.
There you go.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's one of our other things that happens is we'll do a whole episode and the card will say everything we just talked about.
Literally, I don't know what it is. It just comes out of that little box. So I never know what's coming out. That was a good one.
Nailed it.
That was the one. Well, we'll say, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is, my girl.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windish.
If you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.